Okay. Right. Welcome everybody for joining us today for a joint webinar with our partners in the Irish market, Failte Solar. I'd just like to hand you over to Patrick from Failte to do a brief introduction. Patrick, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Raj, and welcome. You're very, very welcome to this, our first webinar in conjunction with GoodWe. My name is Patrick, and together with Abhilash, we founded Failte Solar, the first wholesale distributor of solar products in the southern western part of Ireland. I want to just give you a very brief overview of what Failte Solar is. First, we are located at Western Business Park in Shannon, at which we have close to 20,000 square feet of a building comprising of offices, showroom, training facilities, and the warehouse. Of course, we'd love to invite all of you to come and visit our premises and to see firsthand the stock of solar panels, batteries, mounting equipment, and of course, inverters. We are a one-stop shopping distributor for solar products. We offer very professional and courteous service. We offer overnight delivery, and we are very proud that we have very, very good technical support and after-sales services. In addition, I invite you to visit our website, www.failtesolar.com, and to register with us as a special installer. Very shortly, we'll be introducing an application, which will make it very, very easy for you to shop online. Of course, we're very, very happy to be partners with GoodWe and to represent GoodWe in Ireland. We're delighted that they have volunteered, or they have to host this webinar. And I would like at this stage to introduce you officially to Raj, who is the Managing Director for GoodWe in the UK and Ireland. He's going to present a presentation on the product portfolio that is being offered in Ireland. On the service side and after sales, Colin will explain all the details in conjunction with GoodWe. So at this stage, let me turn the table back over to Raj, and he will continue from here for a little while. Raj?
Brilliant, Patrick. Thank you for the intro. Right, I'm going to take over the webinar now. Today's webinar is going to basically feature on a very small bit about who GoodWe are and why we're a tier 1 inverter manufacturer who delivers globally. And it's all going to be done in conjunction with our new partners, Failte Solar, in the Irish market. But basically, let me introduce myself. My name is Sidhu. I'm the Managing Director for GoodWe in the UK and Ireland. And today is one of my colleagues, Colin Poulter, who manages after sales and pre-sales in UK and Ireland also. Just remember, Patrick did mention that they're doing a special offer today for all orders through Failte Solar, and for people who have attended this webinar. Right, today I'm going to start with the GoodWe introduction and product roadmap. This is quite extensive, and you will soon learn that we have a solution for most solar needs in the market. A little bit about GoodWe. We've been established a decade now, and in that decade, we have reached some major milestones. In between 2010 to 2013, before we entered into any international markets, first thing we did was set up our R&D centre. From 2014 to 2014 to 2015, GoodWe UK was set up. We'd set up in Holland, Australia, and it was the start of our partnership with BYD, who, as you know, is one of the world's leading battery manufacturers, and TÜV Rheinland. Both of these partners we work with consistently today. Also, just at the top there, please note that the ES series was launched. I'll talk about this later, but this was like the first hybrid battery storage unit that we launched into the UK market. 2016 to 2017, we had won the TÜV Rheinland Award. We were also, in that time, we did the deal with IKEA in the UK and other European markets, where IKEA was selling our solar products in some of their stores in the UK. This is important. CEMS was launched. Now, CEMS is our smart energy management system. It's basically, in a nutshell, our monitoring platform. Now, what's different about this is the platform is evolving and evolving, and unlike other brands, it's something that GoodWe have developed in-house, and it's our own platform. We don't use a third-party monitoring company. Within that time also, we'd set up our second R&D centre, so we have two. So a company, as you can see there, a company is focused on research and development, and basically bringing, we have over 130 patents that we implement in our products to this day. And also the Indian service team was set up. So we're actually selling in the Indian market as well now. 2018 to present day, we've won, that's actually wrong there. We've won the TÜV award now 5 years consecutively, which is quite prestigious. We've set up in Mexico, Brazil, so we're actually in Central and South America. But I'll show you a later slide where we're now going to be available in the near future in the USA and Canada as well. There you go. There's the slide I was talking about. The office, we've already employed people along the East Coast, and we're now looking for service representatives on the West Coast of America as well. But hopefully before the end of the year, we'll have our offices set up there, and we'll be selling our products in those markets as well. But for us, predominantly, I concentrate on the UK and Ireland, and also South Africa. So these are the markets we're actually involved in there. Spoke a little bit about the awards. The All Quality Award we've won 5 years in a row, and also the EUPD Award we've won for our products consecutively as well. There's a Red Dot Award, which was given to us for one of our products, not just for the aesthetic looks, but also for the technology within the product. IHS market, we were in the top 6 manufacturers for global shipments of inverters in 2019. Some of our other partners, you can see there's some big names like Bosch, Weissman, Kranich that we work with in Europe. This we received recently. We've been working on this, it started in the UK, but we've been working on this for over 18 months. The deal has now been done. GE looked at over 100 different inverter manufacturers globally, and they decided to basically partner with GoodWe. And GE, as you know, are a global corporation. They are involved in solar, especially for central inverters for utility projects. But in some certain markets, we will be selling our inverters under the GE brand. It just goes to show the quality that we have behind our products. Right, let's get to the crux of the matter. Right, this screenshot just shows some of our smaller inverters, single phase and 3-phase. As you can see there on the left, they start at 700 watt and go all the way over to 25 kilowatt on our smaller range inverters. Right, on the left-hand side, these are all single phase units. The XS series, small, lightweight, compact, comes in 700 watt, 1 kilowatt, 1.5 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, 2.5 kilowatt, and 3 kilowatt. This is our one tracker range, which is small, lightweight, compact, that we sell in Ireland and the UK. The dual trackers, the DNS, is the one that we prefer to sell in the UK. It's very competitively priced. It comes in a 3, 3.6, 4.2, 5 and a 6 kilowatt. So we have a dual tracker inverter that we sell here in Ireland and the UK. This product here, we've just brought in this year. It's basically for larger houses with single phase supply, and it's called the MS series, between 5 to 10 kilowatt. We haven't brought this into the market here yet because we haven't judged the demand for it. A smaller 3-phase range, as you can see there, the SDT series, the generation 2 is coming in soon, ranges from 4 to 25 kilowatt. So we have a range of inverters for smaller 3-phase installations, for light commercial buildings, etc. Basically with 2 trackers. Just focusing on the XS Mini series, I know in Ireland there's a lot of new build stuff going on and social housing projects. This product is ideal for that type of project because we use it extensively in the UK. It's small, lightweight, compact, as I said, 1 tracker, 1 DC input. When I say small, lightweight, compact, the fascia of the product is the size, roughly the size of an A4 sheet of paper, and they don't weigh that much either. What's good for Ireland, I guess, and the UK is basically you don't need much to start these inverters up, between 40 to 50 volts. It's a very low startup. So in low light conditions, these inverters work. Now, you'll hear me talking a lot about this bifacial module compatibility. Currently, majority of panel manufacturers are bringing in more and more bifacial modules into the market. Basically, these are modules that produce a higher input current. Our inverters are compatible with bifacial modules throughout the range. They can accept the higher input current and they work very efficiently. Down on the left at the bottom here, even though it's small, lightweight, compact, you get 10% extra power from the AC side. In some markets, we may need type 2 surge protection. This can be added if requested as an optional extra. I spoke earlier about the CEng monitoring portal. We have Wi-Fi LAN RS485 and 4G coming in soon, but Wi-Fi LAN and RS485 are already available as an option for our product, so you can connect to our free CEng monitoring portal. Right, the 3-phase range, these are our smaller 3-phase inverters, basically with 2 trackers. As I said, again, lightweight, compact, but they have a high power density to the size of the product. One thing you need to note, I mean, there are a lot of inverter manufacturers out there, but we basically manufacture the casing of all of our inverters out of one material. And what we found is you don't get concentrated heat spots, which can lead to problems later. Basically, it's all made of one material and the heat dissipates evenly. Again, bifacial module compatibility, our inverters work, accept a higher input current from bifacial modules, and they work efficiently. Cost is a major factor in our industry. What you can find is when installers or EPCs are doing designs, throughout the range, we have an oversizing facility. So you use less inverters. Depending on the actual project itself, you can oversize your inverters for up to 50% more. So you use less inverters. So there's less cost. All of our products have IP65, so they are protected against the rain, but we do recommend you put them under some sort of cover. And again, Wi-Fi LAN RS485 monitoring to connect to our free CEng portal. Now, these are our medium range to like our larger range of three-phase inverters. And I understand in Ireland now, there's more and more commercial and industrial applications coming in for larger rooftops and some ground mount, maybe utility sites as well. Now, we've sold these in Ireland already. This SMT range, there's 25, 30, 36 kilowatt. There will be a 50 and a 60 coming in later, but these are what we're selling now with 3 trackers. Again, lightweight compact units. In the middle here, we have our MT range. This has been a success story for us in the UK. The MT in regular voltages comes in 50, 60 and 80. And we're selling these for commercial rooftops in the UK. And I can show you some slides later where we've actually had these installed. The high voltage version for connection to a transformer, again, we sell them in 70 and 80 kilowatt unit. Just to let you know, there is a 5 megawatt installation going up in the northeast of England near the Nissan factory with these 80 kilowatt high voltage inverters. Also, again, the bifacial, if you're using bifacial modules, we can offer you 50, 60 and 80. So this MT product has been a success story for our commercial installs within the UK this year especially. The HT range of inverter is now coming in, 100 kilowatt, 120 kilowatt, 136 kilowatt. The 100 kilowatt has 10 trackers. The 120 has, and the 136 have 12 trackers. These we hope to have in before Q4 or middle of Q4. I'm expecting these into the UK because we're taking orders for these already. So it just goes to show that from 700 watt single phase inverter all the way up to 150 kilowatt, we have a solution, whether it's single phase or 3-phase, for most of your solar needs. Just want to focus on the MT series again and why it's been a success story. Basically, again, you can oversize your plant and use less inverters, which saves you money. You've got 15% extra power on the AC side. Bifacial module compatibility, again, they work with the latest solar panel technology out there. They work in high temperatures. They derate less than other brands. Also, optional extras, you've got arc fault detection. So if there's any arcing on the roof, loose connection, the inverter will pick it up and shut down safely. Now, this is sold as an optional extra. AC connector temperature detection as well. If your AC connectors are getting too hot, the inverter will sense them and shut down, another optional extra. Humidity detection internal. It may not actually be relevant for UK and Ireland for most of the time, but it's something that we can add as an optional extra, which safely shuts your inverter down if there's too much humidity in the air within the inverter. String level monitoring, and again, it's connection to our free SEMS portal, Wi-Fi, RS485, also PLC, which Colin will talk to you about, which is a very good cost-saving feature for larger plants. Just going to harp on about the MT a little bit more. One of the reasons why it's been a success story, it's basically proven. This certificate, the VDE ARN 4110 certificate, is a very difficult certificate to achieve for a product. Not many other brands, other manufacturers have got this certificate for their products, but I'm pleased to say that this year, GoodWe were awarded this certificate for the MT series. You may ask why this is relevant. Basically, if you have a client looking for a quality product and wants evidence, you can use this certificate as evidence to say it's passed this strict testing. Right, we went up to 150 kilowatts on the HT series. This is the new utility inverter that will be coming into the UK and Ireland before the end of the year, beginning of next year, I would say, very early. It's a HT 250 kilowatt utility inverter. It's got 1500 volt DC input. You can see the trackers there, and this is something that for larger ground mounts that we will be bringing in. Colin will talk to you a bit more detail about this when he goes through to his slides. Right, that was a little bit about our string inverters, residential and commercial. Now, I said we had an extensive portfolio. We have, and it's basically we have a solution for most needs in the marketplace, and our products are evolving with the current battery technology. Happy to say we were awarded the world's #1 energy storage inverter supplier. So, you know, we shipped out more hybrids and AC coupled storage solutions than any other inverter manufacturer. Right, let's start with the range here. ES, EM, ESA, EH, EHR, ET. Now, anything with an E in it means it's a DC hybrid. And then we have on the right hand side SPP, BH, BT. Anything with a B in it means it's an AC coupled energy storage system, mainly for retrofit solutions. Now, let's focus on our single phase range here, the ES and the EM, which we sell in the UK and South Africa. We have sold these in the Republic of Ireland also. They're single phase. They come from 3 kilowatt, 3.6 to 5 kilowatt. They work with the low voltage batteries that you've all probably seen. Battery technology is evolving and developing. We also now have a product here, the EH, which works with the new high voltage batteries that are becoming more and more common in the marketplace. These start from 3 to 6 kilowatt, 3.6 to 6 kilowatt. EHR means hybrid ready. So we sell this as a solution. So if a customer doesn't want to have batteries just now, we can sell this inverter roughly at a regular inverter price, a hybrid at a regular inverter price, and then we can sell a code later on that your installer can use to enable this hybrid to be connected to batteries. So anything with an E in it, we have a solution for single phase, high voltage and low voltage batteries. Just here in the middle is the ET series. Now this has been a success story for us already, and we've launched it in the UK at the end of last year. It's a 3-phase DC hybrid, comes in 5, 8 and 10 kilowatt. Now these are ideal for scenarios like farmers with barns, rural railway stations. There is a company here in the north that's actually applying the 10 kilowatt units to rural railway stations. They work with a high voltage battery, so it's a 3-phase DC hybrid. Right, on the AC coupled side, we have the SBP, BH and BT. The SBP works with the low voltage batteries. We sell these in UK and Ireland, 3.6 and 5 kilowatt. The BH works with the high voltage batteries from 1 to 6 kilowatt. I mentioned here the ET DC hybrid, but we also have a 3-phase BT AC coupled retrofit, which comes again in 5, 8 and 10 kilowatt, works with a high voltage battery. As you can see there, we do have an extensive product range for battery technology, and it is growing more and more. Let's just focus on the ES, and basically the ES and the EMs are the ones that we have been successfully selling in UK, Ireland and South Africa. Across the range, it doesn't matter if they're ES or EM, but all of the DC hybrids, they have an automatic switchover to backup. So if the grid fails, within 10 milliseconds, the hybrid will switch to backup and you can run your load off the battery. You can charge your battery from the grid in certain scenarios, not so much in the UK, but for instance in South Africa as an example, if you have a bad PV day and you know the grid is going to be turned off the next day in Johannesburg, you can actually charge your batteries up from the grid, knowing that you have power in your batteries for essential circuits when the grid fails the following day. Right, all of our products throughout the range come in the box with smart meter and CTs already pre-wired with the inverter. This is something that comes all the way across. This battery storage, as everyone knows, is basically about using everything you generate. and you're not wasting the energy you generate, so you can use it at a later time when you're in and using your appliances. Again, there's no fan on these. There's a big heat sink at the back which dissipates the heat evenly, so there's no moving parts. And sorry, again here we have connection options for Wi-Fi, LAN, Bluetooth, 4G coming in to connect to a free CEng monitoring platform. Right, the ET series three-phase hybrid, and as I mentioned, it's good for scenarios such as farmers with barns who need power in the night. It's a good hybrid option. Again, if you lose power, it switches to automatic switchover within 10 milliseconds. Again, you can charge your battery in some markets, not all markets. You'll have to check the rules from the grid. Smart meters and CTs all included. You can actually limit your export for your system to 0, so you use up as much as you can that you've generated. You can basically, within 60 seconds, you've got 100% backup overload. Also, it helps with unbalanced power supplies, 3.3 kilowatts per phase. It is a very good option for the market. Here's an example of what you can do with the ET. You can actually parallel your inverters. So in this example, you've got, say, 100 kilowatts on the roof. You can have 10 ETs all in parallel, each of them with their bank of batteries. So depending on what battery manufacturer you use, from anything from 9 kilowatt hours worth of storage up to 22 kilowatt hours worth of storage. So this separate device here, the SEC 1000, controls the parallel ET units and basically make sure that they charge and discharge all in unison and accordingly as and when the building needs it. Right, talking a little bit more about storage. These aren't here yet. We're expecting them before the end of the year. These are our commercial storage options. They're basically 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, 150, 200 kilowatt energy storage solutions, and they will be compatible currently with the new BYD commercial batteries. As I said, anything with an E in it is a DC hybrid storage unit. Anything with a B in it is an AC coupled retro storage unit. Now these are modular in design. They're roughly about 2 meters high. They have built-in remote shutdown. They help with reactive power. Again, automatic switchover, and they help with unbalanced power output. We'll give you more information about these as we get it, but they have been developed, and I know they are being tested in certain markets. Once that's all been ironed out, we should have this to offer in Ireland and the UK in the near future. I spoke briefly about our portal, our CEng portal. It's available in currently 12 languages. It may have gone up to 13 languages now, but it's available globally. So all of our products that are connected to the monitoring portal, you can have a look at. You can see what they're doing, how they're performing. There's a lot of parameters and a lot of data you can retrieve from our monitoring portal. Now, as an installer, an EPC, or a distributor, basically, there's a lot, as I said, there's a lot of information to be gauged. Here's one example, one of the screenshots. To the left here, you can see what type of system it is, what the capacity of the system is, when the system was commissioned, and where it is. Down to the bottom, you can see generation calculations, daily, monthly, annual. Right at the top here, you can see accumulated generation. You can see operation status, how the inverter is performing. This curve here, you can scroll along it at any point, stop, and it will tell you what's happening at that particular point. Again, inverter information, inverter status, you can actually gauge a lot of information from this. There is a button up here which a lot of people you hit, and basically you can modify to this main dashboard. Here you can see more, all of your installations on one page. You can actually tailor this to how you want it. you can actually remove the GoodWe name there and put in your own company name, so your customers can monitor it. Down here you have weather statistics, and there's a lot of information to be gauged from our monitoring platform, and it is evolving and evolving. We will be incorporating things like EV charging, batteries and stuff like that more and more as that technology comes in the future. Right, here's some case references, just to give you an idea. So 11 megawatts in Holland. Some installations in China, another 5 megawatts in Holland. It's 200 kilowatts up at the top in Suffolk in the UK, 350 kilowatts in Lancashire. There's a 2.3 megawatt rooftop in Hertfordshire, just north of London. Some more in South Africa. There's one energy storage there with EMs in the UK in the middle up the top. South Africa again. As you can see, you know, it's not just string inverters, residential and commercial. We do a lot on energy storage as well. And thank you for your time. I'm just now going to pass over to Colin, who's going to take over for the next half of this and give you more information of what we do for support, product support and after sales.
Thank you, Raj. My name's Colin Poulter, and I'm responsible for the pre-sales and service activities for the UK and Ireland. Today, I'm going to focus on the CNI, commercial and industrial products of our portfolio. And then tomorrow, hopefully, if you'll join us then I'll be looking at the domestic energy storage solutions, and we'll touch on the larger scale commercial as well. But that will be tomorrow. So for today, and I'm just going to share my screen now. Where is it gone? There we are. CNI solution. Hopefully you can see that now. And I'm just expanding my screen to slideshow. There we are. Right. Okay. CNI solution. Right. So, so what's it all about? Well, we're trying to achieve a lower levelized cost of energy for you, and the way we're going to do that is trying to achieve that through our products and the offerings, through enabling you to achieve lower capital costs at the start of projects, so lower investments. Then we're going to be able to hopefully gain you a higher yield because of the nature and the technology within our products. Then looking at the enhanced reliability features of our products. And then, as we've already mentioned, looking at the O&M side, so the intelligent operation and the services that we provide with our products as well. So we're looking at the ratio of the total lifetime cost versus the total lifetime output. We're going to hopefully reduce that ratio for you there. So let's move on to the next screen. So we're going to look at how we can achieve a lower system cost for you. And as I said, we're going to look at the larger scale solutions here just for this session. And we're going to be looking at the MT and the HT series inverters. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side here, we've got the MT, which comes in a 50, 60 and 80 kilowatt. Now they all have 4 trackers between 10 and 16 DC inputs for each inverter. They are as 1100 volts DC input, and then on the output side, the AC side, they're connected at 400 volts AC. And these have a efficiency of 98.8%. So if we have a look in the middle here now, we've got our HT series range, and in the lower range here, the the smaller size, we have the 100 kilowatt and the 120 kilowatt. And they are 10 and 12 trackers respectively, which is 2 DC inputs per tracker, which is 20 and 24 respectively. And again, these are at 1100 volts DC input max, and then 400 volts on the AC side connection. And we've got a maximum efficiency here of 98.6%. The larger size HT here, the 136 kilowatt, this also has 12 MPP trackers, again 2 DC inputs per tracker, 1100 volts, and then the higher voltage AC connection range at 500 volts, and this has a high efficiency of 99%. Now on the right hand side here, as Raj has already introduced you, we have our largest scale inverter, which is the HT 250 kilowatt. This also has 12 trackers, 24 inputs. This has got a wider DC input voltage range, which is 1500 volts, and it's grid connected at 800 volts, so it's a higher connection. And this also has a maximum efficiency of 99% as well. So on the next slide here, just like to add a little bit of detail to our MT series here. As I've already said, it comes in a 50, 60 and 80 kilowatt version at the top left here. And this is grid connected at 400 volts AC. Now this is typically aimed at rooftop scenario where the building is going to self-consume the energy that's generated by this inverter to help reduce the energy cost of that building. We do have some ancillary pieces of equipment to control export limitation if it's required. If the building's not using all of that energy, then we've got the ability to control that as well, and we'll be looking at that later. On the left, bottom left here, we've got the bifacial module product compatibility, which comes in the 50, the 60 and the 80. And then on the right hand side here at the top, we've got our 70 and 80 kilowatt, what we call the high voltage range, because these will be dedicated to the creation of ground mount scenarios or a power station where you're not going to be connecting to a building, you're going to be transmitting or generating that power straight out onto the grid. So that's why we say these are utility scale inverters. Just for completeness, at the bottom left here, we've got our low voltage versions of the product. So they're not really aimed at our market here, UK and Ireland. These are connected to the grid at those values there, 208, 220, 240. So just for completeness, just to show you that we do have a 30 kilowatt, 35 and a 50 kilowatt version of them. So the next slide here, this is looking at our largest series of inverters, which is the HT series. Now at the top left, it's an 1100 volt DC input, 400 volts AC connection, and this comes in two sizes, the 100 kilowatt and the 120 kilowatt. So again, these are typical or can be typically used for commercial rooftop scenarios to assist the energy consumption of the building. At the bottom left here, we have our larger version of the product, which is a 136 kilowatt version, and it's connected at the slightly higher AC voltage for a ground mount solution or ground mount scenario. On the left here, we have our 1500 volt DC connected inverter. Now these are connected to the grid at 800 volts, so you connect straight to a transformer with that voltage, AC voltage, and this is going to be very good for the power stations and well, the ground mount utility scenario. So that's our largest solution there, which is coming. Okay. So here's some features of the HT series then, which is going to help reduce costs. And one of those features is the fact that we do have built-in surge protection devices, and these come in a standard type 2, but if that isn't sufficient enough for the scenario, you're not getting sufficient protection there, then you can upgrade these to a type 1. So what that means is you don't now have to go to this additional cost of adding any additional string protection boxes out there. So less time, less cost. It's all within the inverter itself. Now, below here, we have a feature which can be added into the product, which is the anti-PID. So if panels are suffering from this during the daytime, then to reverse that problem, we do have the ability to generate a reverse voltage back across the solar panel to repair that. And we can do that because these inverters will power up from AC alone at night. You don't require the PV at night, so we can power these up and generate this 800 volt reverse polarity and repair any PID problems. So of course, what that means is you now don't have to go to this additional expense or this additional cost and time saving of adding in this external box, this external function. Another cost saving here is the fact that if you're connecting directly to a transformer and generating power out onto the grid, you won't necessarily need to connect the neutral. So by virtue of this, you're getting quite a cost saving, because now you're not having to pay for that extra conductor within the core of the cable. So that's one saving there. And also you can see on the right hand side here that the terminals of the AC connection is quite a large cross-sectional area there, so it can also support aluminium conductors if that's appropriate for you. So there's obviously cost comparison between aluminium and copper. There's quite a difference there, so that's also worth considering. Now, of course, when a building has such as a factory with lots of motors in it or something like that, it can have highly reactive loads. So in order to compensate for that, you'd need to buy some power factor correction cabinets to avoid the surcharges that the grid companies may impose upon you. So obviously you don't want to do that, but you don't necessarily need to buy a power factor correction cabinet. You can use the function within the inverter itself to actually apply that correction method between -0.8 and +0.8. So we do have that ability as well within our equipment. Okay, so that was some of the cost-saving features there. So I'd now like to look at how you can achieve some reduced costs if you're an O&M operator. This is going to be obviously quite a valuable asset to you. Now and again, inevitably, you may have a problem with an inverter that's sitting out there in the field or in the building. So what we've tried to achieve here is a very modular design of the equipment. So you can see here in this exploded view of the different products within, or the different components within the inverter. It's quite easy to change a board, and it just takes a few minutes to change one out if that's actually necessary. So this is just to give you an idea of how easy it would be as an O&M operator. Now, again, of course, what's quite essential to O&M is the fact that you need good monitoring capability. And as Raj has already introduced you to the fact that we do have our own CEMS portal, which is our product that we can report all the status of all the inverters up onto the portal. In fact, that's going to be a requirement soon, that all inverters have to be connected to that portal. It just helps you gain assistance whenever you need it as well. So what I'm going to do now is just go through the different scenarios that we can offer you. So we've got this example here of the HT series, and at the top here is just an example here of number 1, where we have a number of inverters. Now they're all interconnected by an RS485 communication cable. They're all linked together. Now at the end of the chain of inverters, you can connect by RS485 into our device called EasyLogger Pro. Now it's basically a data logger, and providing there's an internet connection within the building that all these inverters are connected to, then by LAN connection connected into the customer's local router, we can transport all the data about that whole system up onto our CEMS portal and present all the information about that system. So that's option 1 here at the top. Option 2, again, we consider all the inverters that are connected together via RS485, and they are now connected into our ancillary device called the SEC1000. Now, what this is not only a data monitoring capability, this is where we can also achieve export limitation and the power factor correction methods as well. So what you actually find within this device is an EasyLogger Pro plus some smart metering, and you connect CTs into this box that are obviously monitoring the power, the incomer of the building. So that's number 2. Number 3 here is a solution which we call our PLC version. So if you were to purchase the PLC version of these products, that means all the data now can be transmitted over the power lines of the interconnected inverters, and then finally connected to the transformer for a ground station. And at that ground station, you will need a compatible device to read the PLC version, and this is called, the data from the PLC, and this device is called the SCB2000. So again, this is a data monitoring device in here, and it's going to transmit the data about all the inverters in this system up onto the portal. So that's our larger utility scale monitoring and export control capability. At the bottom here, at the bottom part of the screen, you have the ability, if it's say 1 or 2 inverters and you don't want to go to the expense of having any of these 3 devices, then you can monitor what the inverters are doing either over Wi-Fi. If there's a local router, you can connect by Wi-Fi to that router, or if you prefer, a LAN connection to the local router. And we will be bringing in 4G as well. So that's quite a useful feature that's coming in. Okay, so I mentioned power line communication. This is an example of a larger kind of system, and this is comprising of 4 subsystems here, and I call them subsystems, just 4 large arrays, and each array is connected to its own individual inverter, and then each of these inverters are then connected to the SCB2000 at the transformer, which is going to take all the power from the inverters in each of these subsystems. And you can see here that each SCB2000 is also interconnected over optical fiber link. So what we've got here is some advantages of this connection solution. Is that, one, you've done away with the need for RS485 communication and connecting cables underground and routing them, because we're using PLC. And also we've got enhanced capability or less or becoming more immune to data interference, because optical fiber is less susceptible to interference. And also the speed, the data transmission rate is also extremely fast, and therefore we can present the information up onto the portal quite quickly for the IV curve scanning that's required. And so you can see here at the bottom that we can transmit this data now over optical fiber up to 20 kilometers, and you can see here that there's a limitation with RS485 up to 1,000 meters distance. And each of these SEB2000s will also be able to host up to 60 inverters. So that's a good reason here to have PLC communication. Oops. Okay, so I've just mentioned the fact that we can, or another need from the O&M operator is to have the level of information for IV curve analysis. Well, this is one of the features that we do have within the CEMS portal. And as you can see here in this representation, that data is then transmitted up onto the CEMS portal. And if there's any problems that are occurring, that will notify the O&M company that some situation is occurring. They could perform some analysis on the string data or the string information that's been taken up onto the portal, or even if there's a potentially catastrophic situation occurring, they would have the ability through remote shutdown to shut down the whole of the plant. So again, that's an extremely high demand from O&M operators that we can supply. Okay, so again, looking at the O&M operator, considering their needs, we've already seen that we do provide string level monitoring, so that's shown here. And we are able to, with the HT series, have 24 hours monitoring of the system. Now, the benefit of that is that at night time, we can actually go in and change some parameters of the inverter if necessary. So that's particularly useful for any maintenance work, because the inverters won't be generating, but we can actually see what's going on with them because we've got the AC applied. And you can also perform any software updates as well, so you're not interfering with any of the day's generation that's going on. Now on the left here, again, let's consider perhaps a fault has developed, and for some reason it's not connected to the portal. Then you'd need to be able to find out what's gone wrong with the inverter. You need to be able to have some data and collect that data. Well, we can do that by plugging in a USB stick, and you can download some historical data of that inverter, and then you can use that data to analyze what's gone on. Also useful is the fact that that same USB port can be used to update or upload new software as well. So it's quite a simple method of updating the software. Now, at the bottom here, we also have, or we're also mentioning here that we do have third-party monitoring device capability. So we do actually have an API that under NDA that we can also provide to you. We're also SCADA compatible because of the type of equipment. So if your O&M operator, or indeed the customer wants to perform their own monitoring, they can connect to their own equipment via SCADA, and they can control the system via their own means. We're also weather station compatible as well, so we can add providing we've got the same protocol, or the weather station equipment has the same protocol interface as our inverters, then we can actually display all the weather station information as well on our portal. So finally, looking at the right hand side here, we've got something called data resume. So what this means is if there is a break in transmission to the portal for whatever reason, I don't know, you've lost internet connection, something like that, then that data will be automatically recovered, and it can recover up to about 2 weeks worth of data. So you don't lose out on any of those, any of that useful information, because the inverter itself will have the ability to store data, then it gets uploaded onto the portal. So just finally looking at the a bit more on the CEMS portal again then. What this shows you is a screen that is available to you as a distributor or as an installer to configure the display which you have on your main dashboard to present the information that you actually want. Now, here in the middle of the screen, you can see the numbers 1 through to 6, and they associate to parts of the screen. So number 1 here, where it says construction and plan, that's shown up on the top left here. Another example, number 3, environmental contribution, that's shown here in the bottom left here of the screen. Now, within each of these drop-down menus, you can select what you actually want to display, and you can go through and make those choices. So it's quite a highly configurable front end that you can display the kind of information that you need. Now, at the bottom of the screen as well, you do have some buttons here which enables you to visit other pages. So for instance, you can visit the alarms page, you can jump to a reports page, and then on the bottom right here we've got a carousel page here, which you can scroll through all the inverters, or indeed all the plants you have within your portfolio of systems within your installation login. Okay, so high yield. Let's have a look at some benefits here of our equipment that's going to enable you to achieve a higher yield. Well, here we are. This is the HT, the largest HT. This example here has 12 trackers. So what we're saying here is that the performance of the system is only as good as the panels and the number of trackers that you have within your system. So for instance, if you have a problem that's developed on a panel or on a particular string, I don't know, a hotspot, or it's a very dirty panel, or it's broken, something like that, then you're only going to affect one string. You may reduce the performance of one string. Now, one string out of 12, you can see the benefit here of having an inverter that's got a high number of trackers, particularly, of course, then if you scale that up where you've got a number of inverters within your system, then you're only affecting one string out of many, many strings. Okay. So here's another feature. So this is looking at an example here of the 50 kilowatt MT. It's got a very low startup voltage of 200 volts. So you can see here that the duration of generation now throughout the course of the day is very early in the morning, and that will go on till quite later in the evening, perhaps compared to some others. So you can imagine across a year, across many years, you're getting lots of extra generation throughout the course of its lifetime. What we're saying here is that we have full power operation at high temperature, and what we do incorporate within the scale inverters is an IP68 rated fan from the supplier, the Japanese supplier called NMB. These are a high quality brand fan, very low consumption, so you can imagine that the benefits of having these to keep the inverters cool as compared to perhaps the power loss you get through the self-consumption of running the fan is very, very low. So as Raj mentioned earlier in his part of his presentation, we can oversize on the DC side up to 50%. So that means we can now use fewer inverters to produce a plant, and so that's of benefit again in terms of cost. And again, we have the ability to have up to 15% overloading. So in this example here, you can see we've got a 1 megawatt system comprising of the 120k HT. Well, if you oversize that by 30%, so we're showing here a 1.3 megawatt input to this inverter, we can actually achieve here on the output 1.15 megawatts. So that's a 15% AC overloading. So if it was just 1 megawatt, we just have 1 megawatt out. Now, we also mentioned that we're bifacial module compatible. So you can see here at the top, now we can accept the wider input current range from bifacial modules, 15 amps currently. And then at the bottom here, we're also, because of the protocols used with our inverters, we can have compatibility with tracking systems if necessary. So the panels will track the sun. Not sure how many of those you've got in the UK, but we do have that feature if it does become required. Okay, so finally in this slideshow, just like to look at some of the quality or the reliability and the safety aspects of the equipment, which are obviously a very important consideration as well. Now, as we've already shown you, we do have the TÜV Rheinland certificate, so this is a high quality achievement. So what we're showing here on this slide is the fact that within our products, we do incorporate full film capacitor design as opposed to electrolytics now. And in this graph on the top left hand side here, you can see that hopefully you can see that the orange curve here demonstrates the robustness of the film capacitor as compared to the electrolytic, where you can see there's a great range in its capacitance ability over a wider temperature range, whereas you can see the full film is very, very stable over this wide temperature range. And so you can imagine that also considering the lifetime of these devices as well, you want to have reliable devices in there, then you can see here that it's a very, very stable performance or lifetime over this wide temperature range, as shown in yellow here for the film capacitor, compared to that of the electrolytic, where you can see there's quite a drop off here. As you increase in temperature, the lifespan of the products really deteriorate quite quickly. So that's some of the features of the product in here. Oh, and also, of course, we are fuse free. So now you don't have to go to the extra external expense of fuse protection, because it's 2 strings per tracker. You don't need to go down the fuse rating route. Some other features, we do have some multiple redundant protection systems in here. So the main processor, for instance, if that happens to fail, there is a backup processor in there, the slave DSP, and that's going to take over the performance of the inverter. And also on the AC output side, if there's a problem with any of the AC relays, then there's a backup mechanism which automatically switches those into play instead if they happen to fail. Another important feature is the fact that we do have the ability of AC temperature monitoring as well. So it's important, if there's an over temperature occurring, that you're able to shut down this inverter quickly, and that we can do by virtue of this sensing ability in here. Similarly, on the DC side, up on the roof, if perhaps a connector hasn't been formed properly or it's deteriorating for some other reason, there's an arc fault that occurs, then of course we want the system to shut down again. So we do have this ability here as well to detect arc faults that could be occurring. So on this final slide here, this is just a bit of a summary here that I've already introduced you to, is the fact that we do have the option for this anti-PID protection in here. Type 1 surge protection devices on both the DC and the AC side. The default is a type 2. And we do have the option of humidity detection. So if there's a high humidity range, I guess we're not going to suffer from that too much, but although in recent days it's been quite humid. So we do have that ability as well to detect any high humidity range here. So that comes to, I think we're running over a bit of time here. So I'm going to quickly just swap on to another screen, which is just I'd just like to introduce you to the service aspects of GoodWe and how we can assist you here. So hopefully that's on your screen now, the GoodWe service. So I'm just going to take about hopefully 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to quickly go through this. So one of the first things I'd like to draw your attention to is the GoodWe website. Now we've got a lot of information on here. This is one of the screens, the first screen perhaps you come to, and I'm going to go straight to the support section of the website, because this is going to be a very useful thing for you to know about. Now at the top we've got the warranty section, so you can go in there, you can look at the status of warranties, you can go in there and purchase a warranty upgrade through the online purchase facility. That's coming in very soon, by the way. Online support, well, that's where we'd like all customers to go to when there is an issue. You can report this information via the online support, and all the information there will be tracked. Then we have a frequently asked questions section, so there's some useful tips there, lots of information on there. Video section, videos is very useful because it gives you examples of how to install the products and that kind of level of detail. Download section we'll come to in a second, because that's one of the important areas that you need to be looking at. Now monitoring, that is where you'd access the CEM's portal. So you go onto that page. Oops, I've just gone on a page by mistake. So down monitoring, you would go there and via your Failte installer, they could create you an installer account, and that's where you can build up your portfolio of all your installations, and you can view via your login capability all your systems online. System design at the bottom there, again, that's a free design tool that has all our equipment in it, and it's got a large database of solar panels in there as well. So it's a free tool. You just need to sign up with an email address and you can perform a level of design. It's not as comprehensive, say, as PV-Sol or PV-Sys, something like that, but it does give you the ability to check out lots of features of the inverters. Now, so I said I'd come back to this is the section on downloads. Now this is an example of the download screen where you can find out information about certificates, user manuals, software. Once you've selected what you're interested in, then you select the product that you're interested in, and then you choose the language, obviously English in our case. Here's an example. I've selected the certificate for the EM, and this is the kind of information that gets presented to you on that screen. That's just to outline one of the services that we have via our division called Solar Academy. They visited many countries, training, provide many trainings. I guess I will take over that responsibility for here in the UK and Ireland. So training will be from myself. Then I'd just like to show you, here's just a small idea of service centres throughout the world. This is ever increasing. And on there are the contact details currently for the UK within that page. Phone numbers and email addresses there. And then, oops, my screen. Okay, so that's having a look at the website, some of the aspects of it and information you can get from there. Now, we are rolling out a program of becoming an approved installer, and we encourage you to sign up for this, and there are some benefits that we're going to be rolling out for you as well, and hopefully we'll have a method of introducing this. We've got to get past this COVID situation, so most of this will be on online training, I would guess, to start with, but we'd like to have face-to-face, and we'd like to get into Failte Solar, and we'd like to get there and provide some demonstrations on the equipment there, and also get you to run through a few installation programs, and we take you through that process. So this is just a quick flick through here, just to say that we are going to be offering that. You'll be given a certificate and a unique identification logo with a number to say that you've been approved by us and you've had this training. So that, oh yes, and that's the kind of certificate you'd be awarded at the end of going through that program. So thank you very much. I'm sorry I've gone over a bit of time there. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to hand you back to Raj.
Thanks, Colin. That was quite in depth. We are going to be hosting another webinar tomorrow, purely focusing on energy storage and battery storage technology that we have. Starts again at 3 o'clock. I'd just like to say thank you for Patrick from Failte Solar and the team at Failte Solar for being our new distributor in Ireland. Please, can you get in contact with them direct, as all the people who have attended this webinar today can get their special offer that they're running this month for the products that they're selling from Failte. Patrick, just hand over to you quickly.
Thank you very much, Raj, and thank you very much, Colin, for a superb presentation. Very, very informative, very, very useful, and we're delighted. Failte Solar is delighted to be part of your partnership. We look forward to actually further seminars and workshops, as Colin mentioned. We have the facilities here at Shannon for workshops in our showroom, so we look forward to that. Again, our phone number is 061 475 839, and we'd be delighted to speak with any of you. And of course, in conjunction with this seminar, we are offering a 5% discount on any orders that we receive. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. We thank you very, very much, and take care. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Colin, there is a question from John Thompson in the Q&A box. I wonder if you could just answer that for us. Can you see that?
Just reading it now.
You may be able to answer him live.
What cable is used for smart meters and connections? It's RS485 twisted pair.
Sounds like a pop group. Okay, thank you everyone. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for energy storage. Thank you.